Wife's cheating confession shatters family chat, my insane revenge after 3 a.m. discovery. It was just past 3 in the morning when the message pinged. At first, Mark thought it was a prank. He squinted at his phone, feeling the tightness in his chest. The words glowed like a neon sign in the dark, his heart raced. I can't keep this from you anymore. I'm seeing someone else. He dropped the phone, stomach churning. This was not just any text, it was a bombshell that would shatter everything that he felt, a rush of raw emotions crashing over him like waves. Confusion, anger, betrayal, each one rose and fell, leaving him gasping. How could she? They had built a life together. Memories danced through his head, the laughter, the quiet evenings, the family dinners. But now, all he could see was her face. Her eyes had sparkled with deceit as he recalled her last loving smile. Mark shoved the sheets aside and jumped out of bed. He paced the room, the floorboards creaking under his frantic steps. A chill swept through the house. It was eerie. Each tick of the clock pulled him deeper into despair. Suddenly, a thought jolted him. Who was this someone else? A name flickered across his mind, a friend he had trusted. The room spun as dread pooled in his stomach. He had to know, he needed proof. Grabbing his jacket, Mark slipped outside into the night. The cool air hit his face, sharp as a knife. He felt alive and dead at the same time. He rushed to his car, heart pounding like a war drum. Each turn of the wheels pulled him closer to answers. What on earth was he going to say when he found her? Would he confront her? Would it even matter? As he drove, shadows danced outside the window, wild and twisting under the streetlights. The silence felt heavy, like the world held its breath. His phone buzzed again. A new message from her: please, don't freak out. It was a pathetic plea. Did she even realize the gravity of her betrayal? He slammed his fists on the steering wheel, feeling fury rise like bile. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. As he pulled up in front of her favorite cafe, an unsettling feeling crawled up his spine. He parked and glanced around, eyes darting. The night was thick, he felt exposed and raw. There she was at a table with someone else, laughter filling the air, oblivious to the storm brewing just a few feet away. Mark's breath hitched. This was it. The ultimate betrayal laid bare in front of him. He couldn't breathe. The urge to storm over there was overpowering. But part of him hesitated. What would he do? Confront her? Trash the table? Would it even change anything? The thought of his perfect life unraveling before his eyes sent a new wave of adrenaline surging through him. Just then, he caught the stranger's gaze, met the piercing look of the man sitting across from her. Something in his eyes, a flicker of recognition, stoked the flames within Mark. Could it be? Who was this guy? Mark felt a darkness gathering, a plan forming in the depths of his mind that surprised even him. Was revenge the answer? What lengths would he go to make her feel the weight of her choices? He clenched his fists, heart hammering. The confrontation loomed, but so did the question: could he really walk away from this? Would he become the monster he feared? Every instinct screamed at him to charge through the cafe doors. A part of Mark wanted to confront her right then and there, to rip the laughter from her lips and expose the truth in front of her new lover. But as he sat in his car, hands gripping the steering wheel tight enough to turn his knuckles white, doubt crept in like a thief in the night. What if he stormed in and made an even bigger mess? People milled around, sipping their coffee, blissfully unaware of the heartbreak simmering in the shadows. They would only see the chaos, the scene that would unfold, not the pain that had pushed Mark to this brink. His phone buzzed again, ringing with her name. He ignored it, pulse racing, the temperature inside the car rising that he glanced again at the couple. She tossed her head back, laughter ringing out like a bell light, carefree, and endlessly frustrating. There she was, the woman he thought he knew, weaving a new story with someone else while he was left in the dark. It sent a fresh wave of bile rising in his throat. Mark's heart thudded, the weight of betrayal heavy in his chest. This stranger, this man with smug confidence, leaned closer to her, whispering something that made her smile widen. Mark clenched his teeth. The impulse to leap out of the car and expose everything was intoxicating. But revenge wasn't just about making noise. It was about precision, hitting her where it hurt the most. That he took a deep breath, and with it came clarity. He didn't want to erupt like a volcano and lose everything, he wanted to dismantle this charade slowly, painfully. What if he gathered evidence, built a case against her deceit? He could bide his time, let her relish in her treachery, and then strike when she least expected it. Mark pulled out his phone, opening the camera app. He focused on the pair, framing the perfect shot. Just as the shutter clicked, she turned her head, eyes narrowing. For a split second, their gazes locked. He could have sworn he saw a flicker of recognition in her expression, but then she turned back to the man beside her, her laughter resuming with a buoyancy that infuriated him. Fueled with determination, Mark parked and took a deep breath, steeling his nerves. He wanted to confront her now, but he would be watching. Every move, every interaction would be documented. There was the thrill of the hunt in that thought. He would become the ghost in her life, the shadow lurking just out of sight. With renewed urgency, he pulled out of the parking lot, leaving behind the cafe and its innocent patrons. For now, he would retreat, but this was just the beginning of a much larger plan. The wheels turned in his mind, sketching out a trail of revenge that felt deliciously dark. Mark could almost feel the sweet satisfaction of learning more about this man who dared encroach on his life, who threatened his family's deeply woven fabric. Each revelation would be an arrow, aimed with lethal precision at the heart of her betrayal. As he drove down the dimly lit street, Mark couldn't shake the rush of adrenaline. It electrified his veins and quickened his breath. What game would he play? What strings could he pull? But amidst the thrill lay a growing fear. What if she found out he was watching? What if she turned the tables on him? The uncertainty hummed in his ears like an unsettling tune. He glanced at his phone. What if he sent her a message that made her question everything? Just as these thoughts spiraled, gripping him tighter, his phone buzzed in his pocket again. He hesitated, pulled over, and opened her text. "I need to talk. It's not what you think." That phrase. Those words felt like a needle prick, sharp and desperate. He gripped the steering wheel as anger slammed through him again, almost blinding. The lines of their relationship, the trust, the love, it was all fraying too quickly, unraveling at the seams. His chest tightened not with fear, but with a newfound fervor. He was determined now more than ever to uncover the truth. He shot her a quick response, "What's not what I think? You owe me an explanation, and I want it now." As he hit send, he could feel the shift inside him, a transformation from hurt husband to a man on a mission. Will she respond? What will happen when the truth finally comes crashing down around them? The silence inside the car felt deafening as Mark waited for her reply. Each passing second twisted his gut tighter, fueling his anger. He wanted to scream, to bang his fists against the steering wheel, to release the tempest of emotions churning within him. What was she doing? Did she think she could just dismiss him and make everything right with a few words? His phone buzzed again, and the sound sliced through the tension. He held his breath as he opened the message. "Meet me at the park. Please." The park. A place they used to visit, where laughter had once floated on the breeze. Now, the thought made his stomach churn. Did she believe that returning to their happy memories would erase the sting of betrayal? With a shaky exhale, he tapped the screen. "I'll be there." The drive felt longer than it should have. The streetlights blurred past like ghosts of his past, memories of smiles and shared dreams. But each one was tainted now, darkened by her betrayal. He parked his car and leaned against the headrest, staring out at the empty playground. Shadows loomed, stretching their dark fingers across the swings and slides. Mark stepped out, his heart thunderous in his chest. He could see her figure approaching, hesitant, shadowed by doubt. The sight of her sent a wave of conflicting emotions crashing over him: love, anger, betrayal. She looked different. Or maybe it was him who had changed. "Mark," she said, her voice trembling slightly as she stepped into the flickering light. "What do you want?" He spat, unable to rein in the fury rippling beneath the surface. "I didn't want it to come to this," she pleaded, eyes wide, glistening with unshed tears. He crossed his arms, bracing himself for the storm of words that would follow. "Then why didn't you tell me? Why play house with him?" Her face paled. It's not what you think." "Then tell me what it is. I deserve that much." They stood there, the weight of the world hanging around them. He longed to bridge the gap, searching her eyes for a flicker of the woman he once knew. But the tension snapped, exploding between them like fireworks bursting in the night sky. "I got confused. I thought I lost you." Her confession hit him like a punch to the gut. Confused? Lost? Those words felt weak and hollow against the reality of her betrayal. "So, you thought the answer was to find comfort in someone else?" She shook her head, a tear sliding down her cheek. "It was a mistake. I was lonely. I thought maybe what?" He interrupted, feeling the fire within push him closer to the brink. "That you could have both. That you could keep this a secret and still come home to me." The quiet of the night wrapped around them like a suffocating blanket. He could see the struggle in her eyes. She was fighting to maintain the story she had created. But he had a growing certainty that it was all slipping away. This facade wouldn't hold. The crack in her armor widened. It was never supposed to happen. It just what? He pressed, taking a step closer. Just slipped out of your grasp like everything else. Do you even care about the damage this has done? His words hung in the air, heavy and accusatory. She opened her mouth, but no sound came. Instead, she looked down at the ground, shame washing over her features. It was then the thoughts began racing anew. Each moment spent with her had created an anchor of pain, and it was time to cut that tether. He swallowed hard, feeling the resolve settle in his bones. "I can't keep doing this, standing here helpless while you play me. You need to make a choice." A hush enveloped them, a pause that felt vast and unending. Then, his phone vibrated in his pocket again. He glanced at the screen, his heart dropping. A text from the new man: "Where are you?" A sudden rush of wild anger coursed through him. When she turned to look, he couldn't hide the fury in his eyes. "Give me one reason I shouldn't expose you both. One reason to let this go." Her expression shifted, panic flooding her face. Just then, the faint sound of laughter drifted through the night air, echoing from the depths of the park. Their world didn't stop, didn't care about their unfolding catastrophe. Mark's chest heaved. Here they were, two people becoming strangers, the lines drawn between them sharper than ever. There was no turning back. What would his next move be? How far was he willing to go? In that moment, the options sprawled out before him, each one darker than the last. But one thing was clear: this was just the beginning of the fight. What if exposing them would rip apart more than just their relationship? As her phone buzzed incessantly, the weight of truth loomed, ready to shatter their fragile world. Would he crack, or would he unleash hell? Mark's heart raced as her face twisted with uncertainty. With every second that passed, the tension between them grew, thickening the air like fog. Shadows danced under the flickering lamp above them, mirroring the chaos inside his mind. Each word, each moment of silence carried a weight that felt almost unbearable. "Just tell me the truth. Why did you turn to him?" Mark's voice was sharp, a knife edge cutting through the fugue of night. I didn't mean for it to happen. I felt so lost, Mark. Her voice cracked, genuine pain lacing her words, but it only fueled the fire inside him. Lost? What does that even mean? Each word dripped with disdain. You party with him while I'm at home? You think that's gonna fix anything? A sharp laugh escaped him, bitter and almost hysterical. He took a step back, running a hand through his hair, as confusion twisted into rage. What did he even offer you? It wasn't love, it couldn't be. In that moment, a flicker of something broke in her eyes. Vulnerability, maybe? Or was it desperation? Mark, I was looking for comfort. I wanted to feel alive again. By shattering everything we built. The anger rolled off him in waves. You must have figured out the comfort you found was nothing but a facade. His phone buzzed again, but he ignored it. This felt like a pivotal moment, the kind that could either heal or destroy. His choices were crystallizing in that charged atmosphere, each path darker than the last. I thought maybe you didn't care anymore. She barely whispered the last words, as if they were too fragile to be spoken aloud. Her statement hit him. Was that what she really believed? Anger shifted to confusion, a whirlpool of emotions dragging him down. Didn't he care? Do you think I'd fight like this if I didn't? Appearing bewildered, she searched his face, perhaps looking for clarity. What do you want from me? The question struck him hard, like a punch to the gut. What did he want? Justice? Revenge? A clean break? Or was it something deeper, hidden beneath layers of hurt? Maybe I want you to choose. You can't lean on me and him at the same time. That's not love. Not for me. His voice softened despite the tempest raging within. For a moment, she stood silent-stricken, and he wondered if she'd finally realized the gravity of their situation. But before she could respond, a sudden rustle moved through the dark. The sound came from the overgrown bushes near the park fountain, sharp and clear. Who's there? Mark shouted, instinct kicking in. He turned his head, pulse racing as his instincts screamed at him to be alert. A figure stepped from the shadows, barely illuminated, tall and menacing. Mark's breath hitched. What the hell? Mark, wait. She whispered, panic flooding her face. Mark's mind raced. Was it the new man? Had he followed her? The laughter he had heard before faded, replaced with a heavy tension as fear settled in his gut. The figure stepped into the light. Tension prickled the back of Mark's neck as the identity became clear. Mark, she said, trembling as the realization sunk in. I didn't think he would come here. Mark's thoughts spiraled. Was this confrontation morphing into something violent? Get back, he warned, positioning himself between her and the potential threat looming ahead. In that heartbeat of a moment, rage transformed into something sharper: determination. No longer was he just fighting for his feelings, he was ready to defend what was left of them. A showdown was brewing, and Mark's primal instincts kicked in. He needed to understand the stakes clearly. What do you want? He demanded, his voice steady despite the chaos swirling around them. The figure stepped closer, eyes glinting in the dim light, a smirk creeping onto his face. Let us have a chat, shall we? That was the moment Mark felt the world tilt dangerously. What was the man's idea of a chat? Before he could react, his phone buzzed viciously in his pocket again, and he cursed under his breath. There was no escape now. Mark, she said, her voice trembling. You need to listen to me. This isn't what it seems. Before he could respond, the potential confrontation loomed over them, heavy and suffocating. Could Mark protect what remained of their shattered world, or would everything spiral further into darkness? With every beat of his heart, the answer hung in the balance, waiting to fracture their lives beyond repair. Mark's eyes narrowed as he faced the shadowy figure. The light illuminated the sharp features of the newcomer, revealing a calmness that felt jarring amidst the chaos. It was the man she had turned to the very embodiment of betrayal. Beneath the chill of anger coursing through him, Mark felt something else: vulnerability. This man, standing there with a predatory glint, had invaded their lives. Just a chat. Mark scoffed, his voice low, barely concealing the tempest bubbling beneath the surface. You think I'd welcome you into this conversation? Now, let us not get heated, the man said smoothly, a sinister smile creeping onto his lips. I'm not here to cause more trouble. Just to clarify a few things, he added, glancing at her with a mocking tilt of his head. Mark clenched his fists, the surge of adrenaline coursing through him. The mix of confusion and fury blurred his vision. This was more than just a chat, it felt like a threat. You need to leave. Right now. Oh, but wouldn't you want to hear what I have to say? The figure took another step forward, and Mark felt a primal urge to push him away. She chose me when you weren't around. Isn't that true? Shut up, Mark seethed, taking a step towards the towering figure, his heart racing. He was teetering on the brink of something: anger, desperation, or the need to protect. He had to keep it together. She stepped closer, hesitantly placing her hand on Mark's shoulder. Mark, please, let him speak. Maybe it's not as straightforward as it seems. Her voice shook, laced with a fear that echoed Mark's own. Maybe you should listen to her. The man's smirk widened, emboldened by the shift in atmosphere. After all, she can explain how lost we've both been. Lost. The word echoed in Mark's mind, churning like a storm. He suddenly felt trapped, caught between two troubled souls. How could you let this happen? That simple question slipped past his lips, raw and unfiltered. She flinched, and he saw the guilt flash across her face. I don't know, Mark. I got swept away, she confessed, a wave of desperation in her tone. You were so distant. I thought. Thought what? He snapped, fury bubbling up again. Thought this was okay. Thought hurting me would somehow fix everything. Yes, she whispered. I thought I needed something else. The shadows thickened around them as silence enveloped the moment. Mark's breath froze. His heart thudded painfully, a hollow sound in the weight of revelation. Could he still salvage any thread of hope from this wreckage? You see. The man interjected, sensing the shift in dynamics. She's searching for comfort that you haven't given her. You must understand. Understand? Mark shot back, voice rising. I'm the one who was faithful while you waltzed in and filled her head with lies. The figure chuckled darkly, and something flashed in his expression, a thrill at the chaos around him. Lies? Or maybe I just revealed the truth you both were too afraid to see. Before Mark could retort, his phone buzzed violently again, insisting for attention, sending jolts of unease through him. The frantic urgency of it felt like a warning. Whatever this man wanted, it felt dangerously close to spiraling out of control. I didn't call you here, Mark finally said to the man, shaking, refusing to let fear take charge. You need to step back. The horizon loomed over them, but this wasn't just about them anymore. It was a standoff, a duel fueled by betrayal and desperation. He needed to draw the line before it all imploded. The man held his ground, his smile fading slowly, revealing a slither of menace. Don't you want to know how this ends? He challenged, stepping even further into the light, every word dripping with menace. Mark's heart raced as realization sank in. What other truths did this man hold? And just how far was he willing to go to break them apart? Where do we go from here? Mark found himself asking, the question hanging in the air, heavy with potential disaster. As the tension thickened like a fog, one thing became clear: this conversation was only just beginning, and the stakes had never been higher. Mark's breath came in quick bursts, each inhale laced with tension. He could feel the world around him shrinking, the shadows pressing in like a vice. It was an unwelcome cocoon of fear. The other man stood unyielding, a predator revealed in the pale light, and Mark felt as if he were dangling over an abyss. "What do you want?" His voice trembled, betraying the facade he tried to maintain. The man crossed his arms, the edge of his smile returning. "Oh, Mark. That's what this is about, what I want." He leaned in, closer now. "I want you to see how fragile your world is, how easily it can crumble." Mark's heart raced, panic threading through him. It wasn't just his relationship at risk. Everything could fall apart. He shot a glance at her. Her face was pale, each expression flickering between fear and something darker, a revelation that lingered in her eyes, unfurling like a dark flower in bloom. "We can still fix this," Mark blurted out, desperation clawing at his throat. "Just walk away. If you truly care about her, walk away." The man laughed, a sound that echoed unsettlingly in the gathering darkness. "Care? That's a quaint notion." He straightened, his demeanor shifting. "I'm not here to fix anything. I'm here to offer clarity to present options." "Options?" Mark's voice rose. "What kind of options? You think you can just lay waste to everything?" "Not me." The man waved a dismissive hand, the suggestion mocking. "You both chose this path. I just illuminated it. All those late-night texts, the secrets, you think I'm the only one playing a hand here?" The torment of his accusation tightened around Mark, squeezing out his breath. He turned his gaze back to her, eyes searching for a flicker of assurance. "Is that true?" What did he mean? I never meant for this to escalate," she stammered, eyes darting. "We were lost, Mark, so lost, and I thought just talking to him might help." The world spun on its axis. How could she? His hands trembled at his sides, not knowing whether to grasp her or shove away the specter who had nestled himself within their lives. "All this time, you've cared more about the chase than how much this hurts," Mark spat, anguish clawing at his insides. "You think this is a game?" The man smirked, clearly enjoying the spectacle. "In a way, it is. Life is just a series of games, Mark. And I always play to win." He stepped into the light fully now, shadows dripping off him as if he were shedding an old skin. "But don't fret. I like to play fair. I'll give you a chance to fight back." "A chance?" Mark echoed, his voice warping with confusion. "Yes, a chance for a little fun. Let us see how far you're willing to go to keep what's yours, or if you're ready to let it all go." With that, the man reached into his jacket and pulled out a sleek phone, tapping the screen with focus. Mark felt a jolt in his heart. In just a few seconds, this man could unleash chaos beyond what was already spiraling around them. "Here's how this works, Mark. I'll send a couple of messages, make some calls. Depending on how you handle this, I'll decide if her secrets stay hidden or if they burst into flames. Your choice. I'll be in touch." Before Mark could grasp what was happening, the man took a step back, sliding into the shadows as if they were an extension of him. In the blink of an eye, he was gone, leaving a suffocating silence hanging in the air. She turned to him, her eyes wide, tears pooling at the edges. "What do we do now?" Mark felt the weight of the world crashing down. Instinct told him to fight, but fear rooted him to the ground. The phone buzzed again, the only constant in a storm of uncertainty. "Answer it," she urged, gripping his arm tightly. With trembling hands, he accepted the incoming call, dread pooling in his gut. He pressed the phone to his ear, heart pounding. "Hello, Mark," the smooth voice of the shadowy figure resonated from the other end. "Are you ready for the truth?" Mark's pulse raced. What truth? Did he even want to know? Mark struggled to catch his breath, the weight of the voice on the phone amplifying the panic that clawed at him. "What do you mean? What truth?" He pressed, his voice barely above a whisper, desperate for clarity amid chaos. The voice chuckled softly, a sinister melody that sent chills racing down Mark's spine. "Oh, Mark. Don't play coy. You know exactly what I'm talking about. But trust me, I have an interesting way to flesh out the details. The truth is the last thing anyone wants, and yet, here we are. He felt his world shift as the ground sank beneath him. The line crackled, a static-laden reminder of the distance between reality and this new, terrifying game that had begun. "You're sick," he spat, but felt the words lose their conviction in the thick air. "Am I?" The voice rebuffed with a lightness that twisted in Mark's gut. "Or am I just the mirror reflecting your little secret? Tell me, how well do you know the woman by your side?" Mark turned, eyes locking with hers. The same face that once brought him comfort now felt like a landmine ready to explode. Fear and betrayal glazed her expression. "I didn't think," she began, but the words died in her throat as Mark raised a hand to silence her. He turned back to the phone, anger igniting a spark in him. "What do you want from me? Why are you doing this?" "Simple." The voice softened, dripping with mock sympathy. "I want to see how you play your hand. I'll give you a single warning: dirty hands lead to dirty games. One wrong move, and your peaceful little life goes up in flames." And just like that, the truth felt like a suffocating cloak wrapped tight around him. Everything hinged on how the next moments unraveled. "Here's the first move," the voice continued, pleasant as can be. "A little upload for the gallery. I'll be sending some messages to your lovely wife, to your friends. Let's paint a picture they won't soon forget." The beauty of social media is how quickly a secret can crawl under the skin of an entire town. Mark's heart raced, panic rising like bile in his throat. "Don't you dare!" he barked, realizing how powerless he was against this man's control. "Oh, but I already did. The real game here is control, Mark. And you're losing. Now," a pause hung like a guillotine in the air, "make your choice. Fight for your future or lose everything in an instant. Aren't you curious about which truth will shatter you first? Your wife's infidelity? Or the disgrace of being an unsuspecting fool?" He could hear the mirth in the stranger's voice, each word twisting sharper than a knife. Mark felt heat flood his cheeks, an explosive mix of anger and despair. He fought back the tears, locking eyes with her again. "I'll fight," he declared, but inside he wavered, fear gnawing at his resolve. "Whatever it takes. I won't let you destroy us." Interesting choice, Mark. But remember, choices have consequences. The line went dead, leaving behind an oppressive silence that echoed in the corners of his mind. The phone buzzed again, but this time it felt like a death knell. "What did he say?" she asked, depthless worry creeping into her voice. Mark remained silent, grappling with the truth of her betrayal and the distant threat from the man who shadowed their lives like a specter. "Mark, please tell me you did not enough. Just trust me," he snapped, the weight of the situation pressing down hard. "We need to come up with a plan fast." But his mind raced with dark thoughts. Was he even capable of leading them out of this nightmare? Suddenly, the phone buzzed in his hands, the familiar name flashing across the screen. As dread pooled in his stomach, he gripped the device tightly, heart pounding as he answered. Mark, the voice on the other end was not the shadowy figure. It was her best friend. "We need to talk. I just found out something you need to know." Panic surged through him. What now? How deep did this rabbit hole go? "Please," he whispered, a sense of foreboding creeping back in. "Just tell me everything." The truth was leaving him behind, and he could feel the ground melting beneath him. Mark held the phone tighter, his palms slick with sweat. "What have you found out?" he demanded, urgency slicing through his voice. The familiar voice of his wife's best friend, Sarah, quivered on the other end, a hard tremor that told him she hadn't just unearthed trivial gossip. It's about Lisa," she stammered. "I found messages, texts. That's why I had to call you. You need to show me." Mark interrupted, desperation spilling over. "Now." Sarah hesitated. He could almost hear her weighing the horrors against his innocence. Meet me at the cafe near your office. I can't talk about it over the phone. No. Mark snapped, a torrent of frustration roaring within him. I need to know now. You can't just leave me hanging like this. Mark, please, just trust me, she implored, her voice barely a whisper. This will be really hard for you. Just please get here quickly. The line went dead, leaving him standing in a room thick with tension. Lisa's face loomed in his mind, the warmth of her smile fading as doubt seeped in. Each tick of the clock mocked him, he couldn't just stand there. He raced to grab his jacket, the panic electrifying his limbs. The cafe bustled with afternoon patrons, laughter mingling in the air, but none of that touched Mark. He felt like an intruder, lost in a world that moved smoothly while his was unraveling. He spotted Sarah at a corner table, her eyes wide like saucers, glancing around as if she expected someone to jump out from behind the cafe counter. As he approached, he caught the anxious dart of her gaze toward the door. What is going on? He asked, his impatience bubbling at the surface. Sit down first. You need to be calm for this, she said, wringing her hands. Mark's heart raced. Calm was the very thing he was losing grip on. I don't have time for calm. Just spit it out. He thrust out, leaning in too close, desperation pouring from every word. Okay, but promise me you won't make a scene. She pulled out her phone and navigated to her messages. I was out with some friends last night, and Lisa she got a call. She thought I was too tipsy to notice. Someone named Steve. The name hit him like a punch. Steve. He felt a tightness in his throat, the room suddenly spinning as the truth crept into his mind like a shadow. No, she wouldn't but the panic constricted his chest, and he couldn't shake the doubt. Then I saw the messages, Sarah said, urgently scrolling. There's something else. Mark, she talks about you your whole life and what she wishes it could be. And then her brow furrowed as she found the right message. And then there's this. The screen illuminated in front of him, revealing crude texts he wished to never see. Lisa's words, fluttering like a dagger, cut through his disbelief. I can't wait to be with you, Steve. I wish I could just leave him. Each word wrapped around him like barbed wire. He inhaled sharply, feeling his pulse throbbing in his temples. You've got to be kidding. She's been seeing him. Sarah nodded gravely, the realization echoing in her expression. Mark, I'm so sorry. The betrayal crashed over him, waves of hurt and anger colliding. What do I do? He breathed out, hands trembling. A flicker of determination ignited in his gut. I have to confront her. Wait. You need to think this through. You don't get it. He rose from the table, his heart pounding with defiance. I can't let this continue. I need to make her see how cruel this is. As he stormed out, the weight of his friend's worried expression didn't escape him. Mark's mind was a whirlwind, plotting an avenue for revenge, a blend of pain and newfound fury. He whipped out his phone, fingers shaking, dialing his wife's number with purpose. But as it rang, a chilling thought seized him. What if this was only the tip of the iceberg? What if the truth held even darker secrets? When Lisa answered with a casual, "Hey, babe. What's up?" a pit opened in his stomach. "Where are you?" he barked, his voice sharp. The line fell silent. She hesitated, and in that moment, he knew. This wasn't just about betrayal anymore. It was about survival. And just as the truth was ready to spill forth, a firework of thoughts ignited in his head. How would she react when he pulled the curtain back? What lay on the other side of his looming confrontation? The uncomfortable truth loomed larger than he ever imagined. Mark's heart thundered in his chest. He could hear his own breath, fast and uneven, puncturing the silence on the other end of the line. Lisa's voice, sweet and casual, felt like a distant memory. I'm at home. Just finished some work, she said, oblivious to the storm brewing in his mind. He clenched the phone so tightly his knuckles turned white. Are you alone? The question slipped out sharper than he intended. What's with the third degree, Mark? She replied, forcing a laugh that sounded strained. Reality sank in like a stone, she was hiding something. He leaned against the cafe window, oblivious to the laughter and chatter around him. I just need to know, he pressed. Listen, I need to see you. Now. Sure. I can be home in a bit. No, I can't wait. Where are you right now? Around. Just cut the games, Lisa. He was surprised at how the anger uncurled itself like a snake ready to strike. Just tell me where you are. For a moment, there was silence on the line again, this time thick enough to slice. I told you it's nothing. Just, give me a moment, okay? Lisa, don't make me come to you. The very thought sent his nerves spiraling. He was on the edge of a precipice, facing the chaos waiting for him below. Fine, she finally said, her voice flat. I'm at the gym, working out. The gym? His mind simmered with images of who could be there with her, who held her attention beyond their shattered trust. Give me the address. Now. Why are you acting so crazy? Because my life is falling apart. He couldn't keep the pain in check. What's wrong with you? Mark, I'll be home soon, okay? But his grip on sanity began to slip. He didn't let her hang up. You said it's nothing before. I need to know what you mean. The desperation crept into his voice again, sharper than a knife. Just wait. Let me explain. She pleaded, and his heart sank, hearing something break in her tone. And then crash. The sound of metal clattering against the hardwood floor shattered the air. Mark jolted, confusion pulsing through him. He narrowed his eyes, seeking the source, when suddenly he spotted a tall figure approaching him through the cafe. It was a man. A familiar one. Mark. The voice was low, uncertain, but unmistakably his brother, Kevin. What happened? Mark felt a mix of anger and relief flood over him, as if Kevin's presence could somehow give him clarity. I found out about Lisa and someone called Steve. I'm about to confront her. Kevin's jaw dropped, his eyes scanning the situation. Dude, you're not thinking straight. His voice held a calm but sharp urgency. It cut through the fiery haze in Mark's mind, but Mark was past hearing reason. This wasn't just about betrayal anymore. This was revenge. The kind that surged through him like adrenaline on a racetrack. I have to find her. I need to know the truth, everything. Wait, Kevin said, almost desperately. This isn't a good idea. You need to think about what comes after. But Mark wasn't listening. He turned on his heel, again dialing Lisa's number as he headed toward the exit. This time, she picked up quicker, the way a child awakens to a nightmare they can't shake. Where are you now? He demanded, fighting to control the wild rhythm of his heart. Mark, please. She begged. Just let me explain. You don't understand. I'm on my way. He said defiantly, lunging into the street. The chaos of the world spun around him, but all he could focus on was the goal ahead. As he moved, a sinister feeling washed over him. The confrontation loomed like a dark shadow. Kevin caught up beside him. Mark, please. Don't do this. But the warning were lost beneath the growing tide of his emotions. He could taste the sharpness of confrontation. As he climbed into his car, the engine roared to life, and his decision solidified into something solid and chilling. The truth was waiting, and he was going to find it, no matter the cost. Suddenly, a notification popped up on his phone, a text from Lisa. I can explain everything. But you need to hurry. Please. And just like that, a new dread washed over him. What more could there be to uncover? Could this actually be more than just betrayal? While he drove, the answer eluded him, but there was no turning back now. Mark's hands tightened around the steering wheel, his breath coming in sharp bursts. The gym loomed ahead like a dark fortress, a place of grueling sweat and false bravado. He parked his car abruptly, heart racing as he grabbed his phone again, noting the dozen missed calls and last-minute texts. Each ping felt like a warning, a reminder of the storm raging in his life. The voice on the other end of his call, Sarah's voice, echoed in his mind too late for calm. As he stormed through the glass doors of the gym, the soft thuds of weights hitting the ground mixed with distant chatter. Everything felt like a blur until he spotted her on the far side, chatting with Steve. The sight tore through him like a bolt of lightning. She stood there, laughing, her lips curling into that smile which had once filled his heart with warmth. But it felt different now, tainted. "Mark," she shouted, startled by his entrance, her laughter fading into an uneasy silence. Mark marched forward, each step heavy with a purpose that hummed in his bloodstream. "You need to leave with me. Now." His voice thundered, loud enough to draw attention. Heads turned. Whispers rippled through the gym, an awakening of shock and curiosity. "Mark, wait." She pleaded, but the fire in his chest pushed him forward. "I wasn't done. I wanted to." "You wanted to what?" "For me to stay blissfully ignorant while you played house with him." His voice cut through the space, raw and fierce. For a brief moment, he caught Steve's gaze. There, sitting in disbelief, was a man both triumphant and scared, a mirror of Mark's own emotions. Lisa opened her mouth, words hung in the air, thick with confusion. "It's not how you think," she whispered, eyes glassy with unshed tears. "I was going to tell you." "Tell me." Mark's laugh was dry, a cold laugh devoid of real humor. "And what makes you think that anything you say will ever be enough? You think explanations could fix this?" He took a step closer, the abyss between them yawning wider, shadows stretching into their lives. "Mark, please, please." "What?" "Stop. Pretend like everything's okay." With every passing second, the seeping dread turned into a molten resolve. He stepped even closer, his pulse echoing in his ears. "Do you even realize what you've thrown away?" The weight of his words lingered in the air, echoing against those who were watching. The gym felt like a cage, each metal piece a reflection of his mounting rage and despair. "I'm done being your safety net, Lisa. Choose. Now." She swallowed hard, stricken, while Steve watched with a smug confidence that ignited something dark within Mark. He pointed sharply at the other man. "You think you've won? You're part of this disaster, too." Mark's fists clenched, all he wanted was to smack the smirk off that man's face. "But I'm not letting you take away my dignity." The confrontation swirled around them, filled with an electric tension. Lisa looked between them, torn. "Mark, just let me explain my side." "You don't know." "I don't know what?" "That you've betrayed our vows." His heart raced faster now. "You think excuses will take the pain away? I'm not taking this lying down." He glanced at Steve. "And you think you can have her?" The gym was silent, patrons stopped in their tracks. Tension twitched in the air. Mark's chest heaved, a wildfire of emotions threatening to consume him. "I can't believe this is happening," Lisa murmured, looking at Mark with a mix of anguish and confusion. "I never meant for any of this to unfold like this." "You didn't mean it." Mark shot back, the heat blazing behind every syllable. "You jumped into someone else's arms. What happened to us? I thought you didn't care anymore." She responded, desperation flooding her voice. "You were so distant, consumed by work, everything but us." His heart plummeted. Was there any truth to that? Had he been so wrapped in his own struggles that he neglected her? But that didn't justify her actions. "We could be talked about this," he said, struggling to keep his voice steady. The shadows grew longer as a myriad of emotions lashed over him: anger, regret, and a twinge of empathy. Mark felt like he was standing on a tightrope, balancing precariously over the deep abyss of love shattered by betrayal. But enough. Enough was enough. The unease in his gut churned like a tempest. I'm tired of being the fool, Lisa. You want to understand what I feel? Imagine waking up to think your world is perfect only to find a stranger has invaded it. The crowd started to morph back to life, whispers bouncing around the gym. Mark glanced at the faces: curiosity, concern, pity. Lisa's voice trembled now, tears rolling down her cheeks. Maybe you think you can pick up the pieces, he continued, unwilling to relent. But every piece has a jagged edge now. With that, he whipped around, leaving her standing there, her expression that of disbelief mixed with pain. He marched out of the gym, heart heavy. He had stood there, heart on fire, but he let his voice be heard. As he pushed through the entrance, the cool air hit him like a splash of cold water, grounding him in the reality of the moment. He needed to reclaim his life. The past could sting like a bitter memory, but he wouldn't let it wrap itself around him. He could draw a line, a new beginning. A ping from his phone halted him. Another message, from her. Mark, please. I need you to listen. We can still fix this. He paused, heart aching. But as he turned his phone over in his hand, that same undeniable resolve surged back within him. No, he whispered to himself, glancing back one last time. This is where I start anew. He got in his car, starting the engine, ready to move forward, ready to reclaim his sanity, his heart, and above all, himself. In the end, those who betrayed him would have to reckon. He would certainly be watching now. Before he could drive away, all he could think was that he needed space. Maybe one day, he thought. But right now, I have to say goodbye. And it was then a text from Sarah came in: meet me. We need to talk. The universe seemed to align. Maybe this time, a chance for clarity awaited. As he sped away into the night, he felt the excitement of the unknown fresh in his veins, ready to embrace whatever came next. He was ready to move on, and the future, though uncertain, held the promise of healing. Now, listen up. You need to subscribe to the channel immediately so you don't miss out on the next exclusive story coming your way. This is the moment to show your support. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm. I want to see the comments section flooded with your reactions and theories about this ending. Don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Your involvement keeps our community alive, and only true fans understand the importance of these actions. Let us make this journey unforgettable together.